Well, one of my very favorite people, Doug Collins, happens to be with us tonight. He is a former congressman from Georgia and one of the most pleasant people to watch when he was conducting televised hearings when he was in Congress. This week, we know that history was made in the House with an ouster of Kevin McCarthy as Speaker. But it's a chaotic part of our history, and it all could just lead maybe to more problems, could be gridlock. But one thing won't be gridlock. Anytime Doug Collins shows up, we're going to have a good time. Please welcome back to our show in Nashville, Doug Collins, host of the Doug Collins Podcast. Good to have you here.
Glad to be here.
Your home state of Georgia
Yes.
is the center of the world when it comes to let's go and prosecute Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a nutty thing that we're watching unfold. This is a prosecutor, Fani Willis, who was determined to find something, and she's indicted him. What do the people of Georgia think about all this?
They're tired of it. They really are. And I think when you look at it from the perspective of, let's look at breaking down the case as it goes. I mean, is it okay now to question, and ask questions? It seemed to be all right for Stacey Abrams and everybody else to do it.
Yeah.
But, again, this is the problem that we're having. You look at all the cases, Mike, and Governor, we look at this from New York to the Jack Smith, all this. It is just, they're taking a unique concept and saying, well, we're going to prosecute you for it. We're going to do this in Georgia. You ask about this, and we're going to get into your mind, and we know what you were thinking. That's not what the prosecutors ought to be doing. And I think that people in Georgia are tired. They're tired of watching it. They're tired of it being the center of attention.
You're also an attorney, so do you think former President Trump can get a fair trial in Atlanta? Is it possible?
It's possible, because here's the one thing that everybody needs to remember. All the things that have been said so far have came from one side.
Yeah.
It's the prosecuting side. They've had every audience. They've had every grand jury. They've been able to present everything. And for those of us who know him real well, when he gets to present his side, there's a totally different, there's going to be the other side is going to be heard, and he'll let himself be heard.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt about that. This week, I was talking to Congressman Rose earlier about the goings-on. When you were watching this from a distance, having been a member of Congress, what was your reaction to all of it that was going on?
I was sad. I mean, I want to just bring out a couple of points to everybody listening. Since 2010, Republicans have had the speakers. We've been in control 8, I think, of those 12 years. We have taken 3 speakers. We've run 2 of them off and voted 1 out. Every one of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Mainly for I don't like, you didn't do what I wanted you to do kind of thing. We've got to get back to a point in which, and I know from my pastoring background, yours as well, we've got to not divorce real life and politics.
Yeah.
Folks, real life and politics are same. If you're in real life and you're working to negotiate to get the best deal you can, that's exactly what you should expect members of Congress to do. Instead of grandstanding and going for the 5-minute video or the clicks, let's say how about actually working for the American people, finding the most conservative thing you can get that, and then follow the old Reagan platform. I'll come back and get the other 20% later.
I've often said to people, particularly when they're new into politics, I said, let me just say this to you. If you have the view that it's all or nothing, now or never, you'll get nothing, and you'll get it forever.
Yep.
Because it's not like that. It's inch by inch. That's how it works.
But we've been, unfortunately, and I say this with love because I am one, a conservative, we've been telling people things that we couldn't do. And I think this is a problem. You can't. It's not that you can't get stuff done, but when you tell them, you make a comment. I mentioned before, we said, "Oh, we're going to do away with Obamacare." Okay, we had a Senate that was Democrats. You had the president whose name is on it, but we're not going to do away with it.
Yeah.
But in 6 years, we gutted Obamacare with 8 different bills. It basically gutted it. But we couldn't run on that because we told everybody that we had people saying, "Oh, we're going to do away with it." We've got to get back again to what I said about reality. And say, okay, here's what we're going to get. We're going to say, we're going to push for border security, and we're going to get this, and we're going to make the Senate give us something back. Then we're going to negotiate it, and we're going to come to an agreement. And then we're going to go back and do it again the next time. That's the only way this country is going to be saved, if we actually have people who are willing to commit long-term to dealing with the issues we have.
And I think what you just said is something we need to remind ourselves of. It is a long-term.
Yes.
It's not an event. It is a process.
Yes.
And the process is not quick. It takes time, and it does happen little by little, not all at once.
It is. We've become such a microwave society. We expect it now. We expect it if I stand up and do a YouTube video saying, this is what I will do. I mean, think about this. And for everybody in a relationship out there, everybody who has a job, if you just walked into your relationship and my beautiful bride is here tonight and 35 years old, I heard a 60-year-old here, this is amazing. We're trying, okay? We're trying.
You'll make it.
Yeah, we get it. But if I went in and told her, I will not do this, I will not take the trash, I will not do this, I will not, that won't last very long.
Yeah.
At least not in my house. That 5'2" would get on me. But if you do that in politics, it's the same way.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't see her for a couple of weeks. Then the swelling would go down.
Yeah.
You could peep through and
Wait,
see
is she
just
there?
a little bit. Doug, it's great having you here always. Thank you. I wish you were still in Congress because you were incredibly effective. And I hope you're not finished running for something. I truly do.
Thank you.
Be sure to check out the Doug Collins podcast and follow him on social media. We've got the links to all of that at our site, Huckabee.tv. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I hope you will now. The button is just below this video, and there's a little bell next to it. If you click on those, YouTube will reluctantly start letting you know when we've got a new video uploaded.